Well, hey guys, what's up? It's your boy AI Legends, and yeah, guys, I'm finally back with the bomber next part of what if Naruto had infinite chakra and was neglected by his family. So, without any further ado, but before starting this video, I would like to make a request to all of you guys who are watching this video. If you guys are new to this channel or if you guys have not subscribed yet, so what are you guys waiting for? Please, guys, do so because it will help me a lot as I'm trying my best here so that I can reach 10k as quick as possible. So, I'm uploading a lot of videos nowadays. So I hope that you guys are enjoying these videos, and yeah guys, please subscribe and subscribe. And for the next part today, you have, let's see, 350 likes as usual, and this time 200 comments. Do that and I shall upload the next part as quick as possible, and it is not that hard. You guys can do it definitely. And so without any further ado, let us start our video. Last time we left off as we saw that how Sasuke and Kyomi fought against Manma and Mito, as Manma and Mito used the power of the Nine Tails as well as the power of the curse mark, put them at a Jonin level by using so much chakra, as Kyomi as well as Sasuke were able to keep up with the Nine Tails chakra thanks to their Sharingan, putting Manma and Mito into different genjutsus as well as using several jutsus. But Manma and Mito were using the power of the Nine Tails, which was healing them at the same time, as well as the Curse Mark, who was giving them power, boost to their strength. So they, in the end, were able to beat both Manma and Mito, and Naruto was not happy about it, along with the Uchiha clan, as how these brats were using the power of the beast to overcome their abilities, as this was almost a, you can say, a cheating, but they cannot argue. After all, the chakra is just a weapon to be used, just like the Sharingan. So, in the end, Naruto also fought Gaara and Yujito, and Naruto was able to defeat both of them, Gaara, to the wood style. As for Yujito, he was able to defeat her without even using the wood style and the Sharingan. And in the end, he suppressed the chakra of the two tails because it was hurting Yujito, who was just not giving up, wanted to win the tournament in the end, but still, he got defeated by the hands of Naruto. And now, it's about time for the rousing finale of the Chunin exam, which you guys were waiting for a long time, and I know it. So, it's about time that we show these two annoying brats their true place. So, without any further ado, let us start our video from here on. As the proctor announced, and now it's time for the finale of the Chunin exams, as everyone was cheering, as Sasuke and Kyomi were cheering for Naruto along with the Uchiha clan and many other clans, and many of the people were still cheering for the twins. After all, they were the childs of prophecy, and most of the village already knew about it, as thanks to Jiraiya, you can say that, as Kushina was praying that how this match will go as easy as possible, already knowing the arrogance of her two children, and wondering if Naruto could actually defeat both of them at the same time, already knowing that both of them will work together to defeat Naruto, and who knows, they might even try to kill him. Even though she already knew that Naruto was strong, but how strong he actually is, and these were the same thoughts of Minato. While on the other hand, Orochimaru was wondering how quickly this match is going to end if Naruto were to use his true power, because the power he used against him, the Susanoo, the Mangekyo Sharingan, the Wood Style, Biju level Chakra, the ultimate Rasengan, as this was way too much for these two kids to handle, already knowing that Naruto is actually going to win here. But still, he was getting angrier, as he had already signaled Gaara so that his heel could be removed, but Kabuto had already came back telling him that how there are many ambus watching him, because Minato did not trust it that Gaara would be kept down, so he put his ambush there, and it was getting harder for Kabuto to release the seals, and he do not even know what type of seal did not even put there, as Orochimaru was gritting his teeth, getting all of this information thanks to the jutsu he put on Kabuto. So he was getting pretty angry about the whole situation and wondering if he should continue with this invasion or not. But still, he has some other plans just in the case the backup. He came up with the proper backup, already knowing that if things got wrong, thanks to the Raikage being here, he would have to use even extra power here. So, while let us go to the stadium as Manma and Mito arrive with the smirks on their faces, as both of them were already completely healed up thanks to the Kyuubi chakra as well as Tsunade's healing, as Naruto also came down as he had a blank expression on his face, As Manma smirked and said, well, it's about time that we put the failure to its proper place. Wouldn't you agree, Mito? As Mito only laughed and said, yeah, this failure should have died when he left the village. But he had to return back to show that he's strong. But guess what? He's nothing compared to both of us. We are strong. We are far stronger than Naruto you could ever hope to be. So just why not just give up right now and right here, and we might go easy on you. As Menma and Mito started to laugh on Naruto's face as everyone was listening to this. As Menma speak up, so Naruto, why did you even return back to the village? Did you honestly believe that people will accept you back? That's how Mom and Dad are going to love you. You just have to open your eyes, Naruto. Mom and Dad are never going to love you, even in your wildest dream, because we are the child of prophecy and the only two children of Mom and Dad, and you are nothing more than a failure, a loser, and could never hope to be better than that. As the gasp could be heard from the people of Konoha and many shinobis as they were getting angry at these two brats. As well, on the other hand, Minato was gritting his teeth along with Kushina, who had a sad expression on her face, as well as Tsunade. While on the other hand, Jiraiya was just there, standing, listening to all of this, as Naruto only yawned and said, are you two both done, huh? As Menma and Mito looked towards Naruto confused, they were saying these things so that Naruto could get angry and he can make mistakes. As Naruto only said, well, are you both of you are done or not? Because all of these things, I have already realized these things long time ago. And to be honest with you guys, I do not care anymore. You can have your dearest mom and dad. I do not need them because I am already strong enough, and the power that I hold, you both of you can only dream about it. And the power you are so proud of, the power of the 90s, trust me, one day you will regret relying on that power too much. As Manma grated his teeth, you're just jealous of the great power we are bestowed upon, as we are the child of prophecy and you're nothing more than a dropout, a failure, a loser. As Naruto said, so are you just going to say these stupid things and not going to fight, Manma? Because the only thing you can run is your mouth. As Menma grated his teeth as well as Mito said, alright brother, it's more than enough. This loser do not have a brain to understand us. So why not just beat our words to him? As Menma smirked at that, yeah sister, let's get to it. With our new power and all the training we got from the Jiraiya sensei, it's about time that we beat this loser to the ground. As Proctor was listening to all of this pretty angry as well, but he sighed and said, alright, are you guys ready? As Menma and Mito smirked at that, as Naruto only nodded. As Proctor said, alright, the finale of the Chunin exams begin now. As he jumped outward, as Menma and Mito only looked towards each other with smirks as both of their eyes turned red as they rushed towards Naruto with incredible speed. As Naruto only dodged all of their attacks, as both Menma and Mito trying their best to deliver attacks at Naruto. As Menma was getting, what loser? Running away as usual? Guess what? Just run away already. Leave the village because you're not accepted here. We are the only heroes in this village. As trying to deliver attacks after attacks, but Naruto was dodging all of these attacks while on the stadium. As Sasuke was gritting his teeth as he said, damn those two bastards, using the power of the 90s to win every battle. And how dare they to say such things to our friend. As Kyomi was also glaring. If the looks could kill, both Sasuke and Kyomi would have disintegrated both Menma and Mito into dust. As even Itachi was a bit angry, but he has a, stoic face as always. As both Manma and Mito made some distance, and then Naruto put his hand into his pouch. As both Manma and Mito were ready for any kunai or any attack, but then Naruto bring out a small book. As this shocked everyone, as Naruto started to read, and then he brought out a small pen as he started to write on the book. As both Menma and Mito were confused, but then the anger started to fill their faces. As Menma speak up, you damn bastard, how dare you to ignore me? I'm the child of prophecy. As pure anger filled his eyes, as Mito was the same, as he rushed towards Naruto, as Naruto was writing on his book at the same time, as well as dodging both of their attacks like they were nothing, as both Menma and Mito were using the Zero Tails cloak around them, in which there are only eyes and power, not the tail itself. As while on the other hand, everyone was looking in amazement. Before this battle, they were getting angrier, but right now Naruto was writing on a small book as well as dodging all of their attacks. It was same battle as Kakashi versus Naruto. The same way it was going as everyone was starting to cheer and started to laugh at both twins as both Manma and Nito were hearing thanks to their enhanced hearing as they were hearing the laughter. Hey, look that how weak both of them actually are. And the other one, yeah, I already knew he was stronger than both of them as both Manma and Mito glare at Naruto. Alright, you damn loser, now you have done it, as Manma said, as a chakra cloak started to envelop his body as if one tails arrived at behind him along with Mito as both of them rushed towards Naruto once again, ready to pummel him. But then Naruto moved with incredible speed as both of his legs slammed into the faces of Manma and Mito as he was moving in a circular motion and then slamming both of them into the opposite direction of the walls, making a large boom. As Naruto closed the book and then put it in his pouch and said, as he yawned and said, well, that was pretty boring. If both of you are done with the warm-up, why not come at me with your full power so that I can get this rid of? I have a challenge against Sasuke and both of you are not even worth my time. As Sasuke was smirking at that, while on the other hand, Manma and Mito gritted their teeth as Manma stood up. That damn loser, huh? I beat him just now. As Naruto said, well, you only beat him by using the power of the Nine Tails. And that is not your own power. And trust me, Manma, you are going to regret it soon enough, that is, as he said in his mind. As Kurama was laughing in his mind, he had already gained over 65% of his chakra and something is telling him that he's going to get all of it today. Right here and right now, as Manma let out a roar as well as Mito, as then three tails envelop their body as both of them rushed towards Naruto, as whenever the stomp on the ground, it was shattering behind them as Naruto was in the center as both of them were coming from the opposite direction as Naruto yawned and then simply when they arrived at the near him from the opposite direction as Naruto simply disappeared from their eyes as both of them simply slammed their fist into each other's face, sending both of them into the same crater which they made into the wall once again as everyone burst into laughter as all of the people were simply laughing at Manma and Mito as both of them were simply glaring at Naruto as even Raikage was laughing as he said, well, that kid does know how to make a show, but there's something telling me that he's holding back a lot of his power. I still cannot believe that he defeated Yujito while she was using the two tails, but it seemed that these two brats of yours, Minato, they're using the three tails, powerful, then two-tailed cat, but still, this kid is keeping up like they are nothing. As Minato said, well, he is truly special. As Raikage looked towards him, already knowing that his firstborn, there was a time when he left the village and his family to train on himself, and this is the result of all that training. And Mito said, alright brother, we have to use the power, as Menma nodded, as both of them go through a single hand sign and said, Shadow Clone Jutsu, and then there were 500 clones of Manma and Mito combined that were around the area as Manma smirked, alright loser, give up now and we might go easy on you, as Naruto only smirked and said, bring it on, Manma, as Manma and Mito nodded as all their clones started to rush towards Naruto, ready to beat him down as Naruto only, you can say, go through a single or rather a half hand side and then wind started to surround his body as a circular motion of the wind and then it turned into a tornado sucking up all the shadow clones of both Manma and Mito and even sucking both Manma and Mito towards them as Ambus arrived as they quickly go through hand sign putting up a barrier around people so that they could be protected from this attack as then Manma and Mito were being sucked towards the tornado which was around Naruto's body, who was simply standing at the center as everyone was watching in awe. As Raikage said, what? I thought he had a lightning affinity. I didn't knew that he had this much control over wind element. As Minato as well as all the Jonins, Chunins were really impressed. Who knows, the elemental manipulation was so hard and this control over elements in such a young age was really impressive. While on the other hand, Orochimaru was gritting his teeth. This was nothing compared to the power he showed him during the forest of death, and this kid is just simply playing with his siblings as both Manma and Mito quickly go through hand signs and then said summoning jutsu as then there was a big poof of smoke as Naruto just to be just the fun of it, quickly dispersed his Chusu, and now they were both Gamabunta as well as Katsuya standing within the stadium. As Gamabunta said, where am I, huh? Who did summon me? As he looked upward to see Manma, as Katsuya said, well, Lady Mito, why did you summon me? It seemed that this is the Chunin exam, if I'm not mistaken, as Tsunade was angry as he said, Jiraiya, didn't you told them not to summon those two within the Chunin exams? This is not a place of a war. As Jiraiya said, well, both of them are contracted to both Kamabunta and Katsuya, and if they're so pleased, they can summon them. As Tsunade was still not happy about the situation, as Minato was also not happy, using such powerful summons against their brother was not the way of a Chunin exam. But many people were still impressed with Manma and Mito, as Manma said, hey Gamabunta, I want you to beat that loser to the ground and show him his true place, as he was still in his three-tail cloak, as Gamabunta already knowing that Jiraiya was the one who was training both of them, though it still hurt a bit having three-tail Manma on his head, as he simply sighed and said, which one? As he looked down to see Naruto, as he quickly recognized the kid and said, no, I'm not going to do it. As Manma said, what? Why? As he said, well, that is your brother, and you want me to stomp on him? Whatever brother you are. As Katsuya also agreed with that, as Manma had a smirk on his face, already knowing that this was coming, as Jiraiya had told him a trick how to agree both Gamabunta and Katsuya, as Manma said, but he said that how Toads and Slugs are just a weak summonings and he has a more powerful summoning than both of you. As Gamabunta's eyes widened and then he narrowed his eyes towards Naruto and said, what did you say, you little brat? As Naruto was watching all of this in amusement, as he said, well, it's about time that I summon him. Though I wonder how would he actually react coming here, though it would be fun. As he said, well, I never said such a thing. But Gamabunta was not listening and said, alright, you think that we are weak, huh? Then go ahead and bring your summoning here. I will show you how powerful our clans actually are. As Katsuya also agreed. As Minato as well as Kushina were not happy, as it was clear as day that Manma and Mito were simply making this up. At this point, Naruto would have not even known that Manma and Mito have this summoning to begin with. As Naruto shrugged his shoulder and said, well, to be honest, I was not expecting or looking forward to fight summons here. But see, if you so pleases, as Naruto bit his thumb and said, alright, you asked for it, as he quickly go through handstand and then slammed it into the ground, and then there was a poof of smoke, a big one, and then a shadow was covering all the stadium, and then a roar could be heard, as which you can say shook everyone as well as put fear in their heart. And then there was a creature which they never saw, as he had, you can say, dinosaur like body, but his tail had light, you can say, like crystals blue, as he was finally standing on the top of it was Naruto. As Naruto said, it's been a while, Godzilla. Well, how have you been? As Godzilla looked down upon both, you can say, Gamabunta as well as Katsuya, as both of them were in utter shock and horror, as Godzilla's full size was that of a full Kurama, and we already know that Gamabunta and Katsuya are actually smaller than him, as both of them are at the same size of half of Kurama, and full size is actually stronger and bigger than both of them. As Naruto said, well, I was fighting my brother and sibling, and they summoned those two, and they were telling me that how they are the strongest of all the summonings. So I just brought you here to show them who is actually the strongest. As everyone was watching in awe, as Uchiha clan already knew this summoning, as Fukake said, what? That is the legendary summoning of the Sage of Six Paths, Godzilla. But how did Naruto get it? Even Itachi and all the Kages as Raikage stood up. That was a legendary summoning, because his village has most of the, you can say, artifact which Sage of Six Paths once used, so he knew about the summoning of the Godzilla. As Godzilla looked down upon Gamabunta and Katsuya, both of them were in pure shivering, as he said, what did you guys say? That you are the strongest of all the summonings, huh? Well, let's just test that theory of yours. As both Gamabunta and Katsuya were shivering at that, as Manma and Mito were in pure awe, as Manma said, how did you got that summoning, you damn bastard? I should have the one to get it. I'm the child of prophecy. as Mito was also agreeing with Manma that they are the one who should have got that summoning, not Naruto. As Naruto said, well, if you want the summoning, you can have it, but you have to pass the test of Godzilla, and trust me, that is hell. You have to fight him head on for 1 hour, and if you were to be killed by him, then so be it. As both Manma and Mito gulp a little when Godzilla simply looked towards both of them with a huge smirk on their faces as he said, alright, allow me to show you how powerful I actually am, as he moved his tail and then, you can say, attack both Gababunta and Katsuya with it, swinging his tail at both of them, slamming both of them at the barrier as Ambu were gritting their teeth. They were barely holding on the barrier to begin with. A single attack has already dispelled both Gamamunta and Katsuya as they were in utter shock and horror, already knowing that this was a legendary summoning and they cannot keep it up with him, as both of them simply dispel at that. As Menma and Mito were on the ground, as Naruto said, alright Godzilla, maybe I will summon you later on, who knows, as he simply nodded as he poofed away. As Naruto landed on the ground as he said, so Menma and Mito, it seems that your summonings are done for, so what are you going to do next, huh? As Manma stood up as he said, well, I was not expecting that to happen, but still, you're nothing more than a loser. And trust me, when I get rid of you, I'm going to get that summoning of yours as well. As Mito agreed with that, as Manma looked towards Mito, who agreed, and then the curse mark started to spread upon their body as Naruto narrowed his eyes, as it was more than what they used against Sasuke, as well as Kyomi, as Minato as well as Jiraiya stood up as all of them were watching as their body turned black as they evolved into the second level of the curse mark. As Orochimaru was smirking, he had already have plans how to make Minato suffer to begin with, and this is going to be the start of it. As then Menma and Mito let out a roar as the four tails arrived at back of them as they were using the four tails curse mark state, as both of them smirk at each other as they vanish towards Naruto with incredible speed as Naruto's eyes widened as he was slammed into the wall, but still he had his arms in the X motion and both of their face was slamming into it. As Naruto gritted his teeth, both of their attacks were really powerful as they started to attack Naruto with incredible speed, and right now both of them were low Kage level thanks to four tails as well as a curse mark level on their body as they were moving with incredible speeds, attacking Naruto over and over again with their different colors Rasengan slamming it into him. But Naruto was still keeping up with both of them as everyone was watching as these two kids have turned into monsters, as people of Konoha were in fear of both Manma and Mito now, as Manma and Mito were simply laughing like maniacs, as while on the other hand Minato was in shock as well as a bit scared about his son's life, as well as he was looking at both Manma and Mito as both of them were simply laughing like crazy people as they were using this power. Yes, this is the power, we will bring the world to its knees and I will control it all. As Manma was laughing as Mito said, yeah, I will become the queen of this world and Manma will become the king, as both of them, we will become the rulers of this world, as both of them were simply laughing their head off as Naruto already had more than enough as he said, alright, I have more than enough of yours, as Naruto's body started to light up and then a burst of chakra came from his body as two seals simply shattered as everyone could feel the presence. Already there was four days Manma and Mito inside of the arena, but Jiraiya was wondering why their body was not turning into that different color of cubic cloak. It was still only red chakra around them with four tails behind it, but it should have turned into the darker red, though he was still wondering about it, but not knowing that most of the chakra was already left. As Menma and Mito were laughing their head off, but then suddenly one tail from both of them simply disappeared, and right now they were at the three tails, and then Naruto released his chakra as everyone could feel a presence that was inside of it, like it was a Biju has just arrived into the area as Naruto's whole body started to glow with blue as Naruto smirked, as whole lightning started to cackle around his body as Raikage's eyes widened. It was just like his lightning armor as Naruto grabbed the face of both Manma and Mito, slamming it into the ground, making a large crater there as Manma tried to use his tail to swing it at Naruto, but Naruto grabbed the tail, chakra tail, like it was nothing. As Manma and Mito's eyes widened, his hand should have burned with it, but it did not occur. As Naruto slammed Manma, swinging it into the air and slamming it into the ground, and then made a Rasengan in his hand, shocking everyone who did not knew that Naruto could use the Rasengan as well, slamming it into Manma, as Manma let out a scream of pain and agony as Mito tried to slash at Naruto, but Naruto kicked her so hard as she was slammed into the barrier, almost cracking it. As Mito was now gritting her teeth as she started to flew into the air and started to go through hand signs and said, "Oh, why you asked for it, you damn loser, you should have died." As he let out a stream of red fire started to rush towards Naruto as Naruto go through a single hand sign and said, "Wind style, wind tornado." As then a wind tornado arrived, started to suck up all the fire around it and started to rush towards Mito. Thanks to the barrier, she was not able to flew much higher as the wind tornado slammed into her as she was engulfed in a fire wind tornado as screams of her could be heard as she was slammed into the barrier into the ground as Naruto looked towards both Manma and Mito as both of them looked towards each other and then nodded as both of them let out a roar and started to use all the chakra of the 9 tails as still laughing like maniacs as Naruto had more than enough of both of them as he had already proved his point that he is far stronger than both of them, so he quickly go through hand sign and then slam it into the ground, and then the wooden spike started to arrive at grabbing both Manma and Mito and then started to suck up all the chakra that was inside of them as then both Manma and Mito started to scream and the 9th chakra was engulfed into it as both of them were almost at the brink of unconsciousness as they had lost the full 9th chakra as Kurama inside of Naruto's mindscape was simply laughing as well as doing his party stuff. After all, after years he has full power of his own as Naruto rushed towards both Manma and Mito as he grabbed them from their necks, slamming them together as their heads met as both of them let out a scream as then Naruto put a hand towards the curse mark as he said, "Are you ready, Kurama?" As Kurama nodded as he started to channel his chakra directly towards the curse mark itself, even though the curse mark was definitely made so that the Bijus or Jinchurikis could actually use it, or you can say rather in Manma Mito's case, but Naruto put the chakra, his own chakra, into it as well as cancelling out all the effects of it and even destroying the soul fragment that was in the seal. Thanks to the Kurama's overwhelming presence, it was simply destroyed as they reverted back to their human form, almost unconscious. As Naruto said, "Did you do that, Kurama?" As he nodded. He already had sent a bit of chakra into the seals of Manma and Mito, not even zero tail worth, just that so that they can be kept alive, as both of them were simply knocked out. As for some time there was silence in the stadium, and then the whole crowd burst into the cheers as Naruto Eternal, as all of them were simply cheering for Naruto, as Naruto had a smile on his face after such a long time. He has finally defeated his siblings and now he is the champion of the Chunin exams, as everyone was simply cheering for him. As for some time even Itachi was a bit, you can say, worried about Naruto after seeing those summonings as well as all the things. Both Manma and Mito using the curse mark level 2 as well as 4 tails nonetheless, as both Manma and Mito were knocked out, and then Jiraiya landed in the area as he said, "Manma, Mito, what happened?" As he rushed towards both of them as he looked at their neck to see that curse mark was gone as his eyes widened, and then he narrowed his eyes towards Naruto. "Hey you, what did you do to that power?" As Naruto said, "That power was corrupting both of them and I have finally get rid of it." As Jiraiya's eyes widened as he said, "You do not understand. They are the child of prophecy. They had to use that power to bring peace to the world." As he was pretty angry as he rushed towards Naruto, ready to punch him, but then the chain started to envelop Jiraiya. As it was Kushina. "Jiraiya, how dare you? That is more than enough." As Tsunade said, "Come on, Jiraiya, we have to go." As she grabbed Jiraiya from his collar and bring her into the, you can say, stadium once again, as Kushina sighed as she looked towards both Manma and Mito as Medic had already took both of them. To be honest, she was really scared when both Manma and Mito were laughing like maniacs, as she was wondering if the whole thing like Kurt's mark has finally got to them and made them crazy or something like it. So she was pretty scared for her children. But Naruto simply ignored her, even though she tried to congratulate him of winning the tournament. But Naruto simply went past her. This battle has really bring a lot of bad memories in his mind once again back to him, though he simply ignored Kushina for now as he went off to do his own thing. As his friends were really cheering for him as Proctor arrived, the winner of the match, Eternal Naruto, as everyone was cheering, and then, before they could do anything, a boom could be heard on the Kage box as Orochimaru had finally more than enough. This kid's name everywhere was testing his patience, and he has finally lost it as he said, "You damn brat, I'm going to kill you," as he slammed his hand into the ground as a big snake arrived rushing towards Naruto, as it was not Manda because he was in great pain and agony. Who knows, he might have even died. As for Minato, as he said, "Orochimaru, what are you doing here?" As Orochimaru smirked at Minato as he said, "Well, I do not have time for you, Minato," as he slammed his hand into the ground, and then four coffins arrived, as then Raikage narrowed his eyes as first Hokage, second Hokage, and then it was the fourth Raikage's father, third Raikage, as well as the fourth Kazekage, Gaara's father, was there. As Raikage's eyes widened, it was his father. How dare this snake pedophile to summon his father from his death to bring havoc? And Raikage gritted his teeth as he was really angry as Orochimaru was smirking as he said, "Well, Minato, I was mainly here to make you suffer, though I really was expecting that both of your children lost their mind, but it seemed that their older brother must have noticed that how bad the influence of my curse mark was having on their head, so he simply removed it, though I should have get rid of him, but he overpowered me. But now I'm going to use all of my jutsus, all of my power, all of my army to get rid of him," as he rushed towards Naruto, as Minato was about to flash towards Orochimaru, ready to stop him or fight him. But then first Hokage's wood style started to rush towards Minato, who had to flash somewhere else, as Raikage was also there, as Zone 4 arrived, trapping all the reanimations as well as two Hokages with the inside of the barrier, as Orochimaru was rushing towards Naruto, ready to take him down himself. As Orochimaru started to rush towards Naruto, who was standing with Uchihas, as Itachi arrived in front of him, putting the Amaterasu towards Orochimaru, who dodged in midair and then sent his Shinobis towards Itachi and other Uchihas so that he could fight off against Naruto to kill him as quick as possible or try to take over his body if possible, that is. But still, he was pretty angry at Naruto and all the humiliation as well as his plans were simply disrupted this much, not Gaara being here, and this was the main part of his plan, the Biju attacking the village, but now he has other things to deal with, all because of this little brat, and he's going to take him down right here and right now, as he was rushing towards Naruto. As Naruto said, "Alright guys, I handle him," as he rushed towards Orochimaru. Both of them met at center, as Orochimaru has already from his mouth bring out the Kusanagi, and he rushed towards Naruto, as Naruto also bring out his own sword, as both of the swords simply collide with each other, as Orochimaru's eyes widen, as it was the sword is made up of the same, you can say, substance that was on the back of Godzilla, as it was a shining blue crystal, as his eyes widened and said, "That is," as Naruto smirked, "stronger than your one," as he cut through Uzanagi like it was nothing, as Orochimaru's eyes widened, as Uzanagi simply turned into two halves, as Orochimaru gritted his teeth, as both of them engaged in a taijutsu battle, as Sasuke said, "I'll help him," as Itachi arrived, "No, you don't. You do not have the power to keep up with Orochimaru. Don't worry, I'll help him if the needs to be arrived. Go there, Sasuke. The village needs our help." As Sasuke gritted his teeth, knowing that he's not strong enough to take on Orochimaru, not here at least, so he have to fight other shinobis, as some of them try to catch Sasuke as well as Kyomi of God, but both of them were already capable enough as they activated their Sharingan and started to fight off against all the shinobis that were around them, as Itachi was about to go to Orochimaru, but then some other shinobis from Sand Village surrounded him, as Itachi saw it, and he had to fight off against all of these shinobis. While on the other hand, Minato was fighting off against first Hokage and second Hokage, not winning whatsoever. While on the other hand, Jiraiya as well as Tsunade were trying to break the barrier so that they can enter there, as Minato looked towards them and then he simply teleported outside of the barrier as Sound 4 were cursing. Thanks to Minato's shield outside, he could easily teleport if he wants to, as they bring both Jiraiya as well as Tsunade and Kushina inside of the barrier because he knows that if the barrier is to drop, then there would be a lot of havoc as well as destruction within the village. So this barrier is ultimately helping them. It is not like they cannot escape the barrier. They can easily do so if they so desire. As Jiraiya activated his Sage mode, summoning both of the Toads and said, "Alright, Minato, it will take some time." As Tsunade said, "Well, we do not have time, Jiraiya. Do it quickly." As she activated her seal and then rushed towards her, you can say, let's see, who should it? Yeah, fourth Kazekage, or third Kazekage it was, I think it was fourth Kazekage. Gaara's father, as both of them engaged in a battle as the battle was still going on, and Minato was trying to prepare some steel so that he could easily seal off Hashirama and Tobirama because both of them were not at their full power. They are barely at 10 to 20% of their original strength, but they were still pretty powerful to take care of that easily. While on the other hand, Naruto was fighting off against Orochimaru, winning at the same time because he has already released two of his seeds and he was at the same level when he was against Orochimaru in the forest of death. As Naruto said, so pedophile, you have finally came here. Well, I was wondering if you had survived there, though chances were pretty low, but my something was telling me that you are a really slithery of a person. As Orochimaru smirked and said, "Well, you little brat, I'm here to kill you this time. I'm not going to hold back or underestimate you whatsoever. I'm going to kill you before you can use any of your power." As he tried to slash at Naruto with broken Izanagi in his hand. As Naruto quickly jumped away and said, "Still not letting that sword go, Orochimaru? Well, I have enough of you." As Naruto burst towards Orochimaru with incredible speed, enhancing his punch, and this time he put even the Kyuubi's chakra into it. As Orochimaru's eyes widened when it slammed into his face, sending some of the chakra inside of Orochimaru, which started to burn him from inside. As Orochimaru said, "Damn you, brat," as he quickly opened his mouth and then slit it out of it. As Naruto smirked and said, "Well, that must have taken a lot of chakra, wouldn't you agree, Orochimaru?" As Orochimaru gritted his teeth as Naruto said, "Alright, I have enough of yours." As Naruto made a Rasengan and then the fire started to rotate around it and absorbed into the Rasengan. As Orochimaru's eyes widened as he could feel the power behind that attack as Naruto simply vanished before Orochimaru could even came out of his mouth completely. The Rasengan was slammed into his face once again, sending him flying into the nearby area, and there was a boom as Orochimaru's almost whole body was burning, but still he opened his mouth once again and started to slither out as his half body turned into a snake as he tried to rush towards Naruto because he was here to win this time. But he was not realizing that how bad he was actually getting his ass handed to Naruto, as Naruto was still keeping up. As Orochimaru said, "Damn this kid, damn it, how is he this strong? It does not make sense. I have to use some other tactics, otherwise I'm not going to win." As he started to look around and then his eyes narrowed and then a smirk came to his face as Naruto noticed that as Orochimaru's half body turned into a snake as he rushed past Naruto. As Naruto's eyes widened when he looked back to see it was Kyomi who was fighting off against some sound shinobis as Orochimaru was rushing towards her with the broken Izanagi. As Naruto's eyes widened with incredible speed, he started to rush towards Kyomi, but Orochimaru was already there. As Kyomi's eyes widened when the Uzunagi was coming towards him, but then suddenly as she closed her eyes, as Orochimaru was smirking and then squashed as broken Izanagi pierced through someone's stomach. As Kyomi opened her eyes as pure face of horror was on her face as it was Naruto, as she was standing in front of her in the protective manner as the Izanagi was pierced through his stomach, but he grabbed it, stopping it from piercing through Kyomi as well. As Kyomi started to bleed and then Naruto only gave her a smile. A tear started to come to her eyes as her eyes started to spin rapidly. These things started to rush through her mind. The emotions were going overflow as she let out a scream of pain which stopped battle for a small moment as everyone looked around Tsunade, Kushina, as their eyes widened along with Minato from the barrier as the sword was piercing through Naruto's body as Orochimaru put out his sword with a big smirk on his face and said, "Finally, I have killed you. I have killed that damn bastard who ruined all of my plans," as he was laughing like a maniac as Naruto was on the ground as Kyomi was simply crying over his body as Naruto only smiled at her. "Don't worry, Kyomi-chan, I'll be okay," as Kyomi then glared at Orochimaru as Kyomi had the Mangekyo Sharingan in her eyes, and then she let out a scream as the black flame started to rush towards Orochimaru with incredible speed, but Orochimaru was able to dodge it just in time as everyone was in utter horror that how the one of the greatest shinobi who was in making was just died was there almost dying as Kushina was crying as she said, "Minato, send me back there now," as Minato was about to do it, but then Tobirama arrived as he decided to fight off against Minato thanks to his own flying Raijin, and he had to protect himself as Kushina was still crying. As Tsunade was also sad, she being here, she cannot heal the kid, and she already know how powerful the Izanagi sword actually is, as okay guys, here I will leave this part. Hope you guys like it. In the next part we will cover the end of the invasion and after the 3 years time skip and even the Akatsuki arc. I will try my best to cover it as well. So I hope that you guys like this part. So without any further ado, let me end it and complete the like goal and the comment goal as quick as possible so that I can upload the next part today. So it is really up to you. So yeah guys, peace.